Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you are new here or this is your first time, this is the Angel Fire Brief. My name is Daisha. I am delighted to see you here, and I want to just touch base with you guys today about Iran. So, for about the past month now, we have seen repeated headlines from the protests in Iran to the situation on the ground. But as this scenario develops, we're still waiting to see some conclusive proof um, from the Iranian government that it will, in fact, do something in regards to its citizens and equal rights for women. And so the protests are not uh, simply just protests anymore. I feel like from everybody that I've talked to on the web to everybody that I've talked to in the Anon community to everybody that I've talked to um, in Iranian media and in the US media, it doesn't look like the situation um, is changing. And I feel like saying that there's obvious intent behind that. And I feel like also saying, one of my friends that I had spoken with earlier today that is involved in uh, one of the provinces. I can't pronounce the name right, so I'm not even gonna try to botch it. Sarek. I think I said it right. Comment down below if you didn't like my pronunciation of that name. But one of the things that I see as like a standard that the people on the ground and the people that are going out to protest every Friday have been so intent on bearing is that they know that this is like dire as far as circumstances. They know that the situation isn't going to change if they don't speak up. And I feel like, more importantly, they know that the world's eyes are paying attention. And I think that that creates a dynamic of several different things here. I think it creates a dynamic of understanding, and it creates a dynamic of people in the US media. Uh, it creates headlines, it creates good news, it creates great bulletins, and this just in. Um, I cried the other night when I ended up speaking with this same girlfriend that is on the ground in Iran. Um, she had told me that literally watched like the police the IRGC military police shoot down um, a woman not too far from where she was standing. And she had been so shaken by that, and I would say rightfully so. It was something I feel like that as a visual, she said that it was going to take her some time to get used to it, to get over it, or to get over the psychological after effects of being stuck in that situation. And I remember one of the more recent shootings at my job, she and I were talking about people being shot literally around us. And one of the recent shootings at my retail job, I wasn't present during the shooting, and so I didn't really like have that gauge of understanding to go on. But I remember that night just being close enough and in the presence, of both the shooting and the shooter. And this will be my third experience in, as far as not just my job, but as far as life. I have the hiccups, excuse me. I've been around three shootings now, and so I find it very difficult to imagine never having been right close in the vicinity of the shooting as it's taking place. The damaging effects that night, the first time it happened, and I was somewhat close by. I don't think I got to sleep until like 3 a.m. that night. And so I remember sitting on the phone with my girlfriend, who was discussing watching a woman get shot in at dusk. Not technically broad daylight, but nearly broad daylight, just a couple of weeks ago, and how scared she was in the moment, that she wasn't thinking about like her future health or after effects. And one of the things that I've been telling people that are involved with protests in Iran, if I could give you any sound advice, hijab or no hijab, cling to Allah. Like, honestly, clinging to God and praying has been integral in my process, and like just getting back down to earth and getting back down to a place where I'm comfortable, again, I've never even really been directly in view of a shooting, and this happened literally right in front of her. And so I felt like I couldn't give her all of, the sage advice that I would have liked to have given, but I don't really have that much of a gauge to go on. And I cannot imagine, like, she told me she did not fall asleep that night until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And she said by the time she had like actually finally closed her eyes, it was time to get up for prayer almost. And so the best I could do in the moment was just to like assure her that, like Allah is paying attention. Allah does not like ignore your prayers, and Allah is seeing you go through this and seeing your struggles, and really wants you to just put your cares and your worries and your need for comfort, uh, especially on an emotional level from sister to sister. I feel like we have a lot of comfort that we can provide our other sisters. And I really just impressed upon her to keep striving and to keep pushing. And you know, I, I'm of a like mind. Like I am almost ready myself to pack my bags and go and join some of my sisters in the protests there, because I can't imagine what the women that I'm friends with and talk to are actually going through. It's the same thing that all women go through, but you know, it's not as comfortable. We're not sitting here in the West, like watching and thinking, you know, God, that any one person over there going through these struggles and going through these political misalignments and trying to fight said political misalignments, um, are not your struggles are not in vain. That's what I could tell you. I could tell you like so many things, but if I could give it to you like the most honestly, no one here in the West is watching this and watching this with a dry eye. Most women or most like female journalists or like educators, people that are active in the public sector are watching this, and a lot of us think, and I have had conversations with other Westerners and, Muslim and non Muslim alike. And a lot of us are watching this and keeping our prayers centered on the women and centered on the protests in Iran, among other things. Obviously, I mean, we have enough a lot of time during the day to give salat. I mean, we pray what, 5 6 times a day. So I can promise you that uh no loss of life is going to go unturned. No loss of life is going to be covered up. No loss of life here is gone unnoticed by the journalism world or otherwise. And I just want to encourage some of the women over there to keep on struggling and doing what you're doing, because it's not just about getting the press to notice. It's not just about getting your voices are heard, and you have like new answers coming out of the woodwork even within the political structure that are going to be female. So legitly like answers although they may be slow, I feel like Allah is gonna turn this around, and I feel like there's a lot more that is gonna benefit society in the long run. Um, we can't let each other down. We can't, like, as US citizens, uh reach out to your Persian friends, reach out to the people that you care about in the Persian community. Make sure people are safe, make sure people are okay. And I'm actually, gonna drop a piece later on tonight regarding the Iranian, like, threats regarding nuclear situations and the war. But I just, I really want to encourage female friends of mine that are there right now in the struggle and are scared, and people are willing to risk their lives at this point. I think that's something that most governments need to pay attention to. If you aren't watching the Iranian movement, and we're not even going to call them protests anymore, but a revolution. Um, it's not distilled. This is not like watered down, and this is real. And I think it's important to pay attention to the fact that people are willing, literally, to again risk their lives for some semblance of a strain or some semblance of a struggle for freedom. This time around, it's definitely not gone unnoticed. And with that, I am gonna say bye bye for now, and I'm gonna drop my piece on the IRGC and some of the military actions and endeavors in the next couple of hours. So, thank you guys. Be blessed. Have a good day.